Plaintiff Michael Wright claims the defendant hasn't repaid a cash loan and took off with his rental car. He's suing for $2,000. Defendant Clinton Tolbert claims the money was a gift and that he had the plaintiff's permission to use his car. So he says he owes nothing.
Case number 133 on the docket, Wright versus Tolbert.
Okay. The plaintiff, Mr. Wright, you are suing the defendant, Mr. Tolbert, for $2,000 for money owed.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm suing this man because he's a liar and a thief. Initially, we were introduced through a family friend due to my sister's wedding, so...
That's not true.
So anyway, the point is that out of meeting him through that connection, through family, I assumed that it would be something more trustworthy that would be okay for me to do a loan like this with him as per our verbal agreement.
How did the loan come about?
He mentioned that he was in need of some money, so I was actually in a position where I could loan him the money. Had a
So it
verbal
was
agreement
the other
with him.
person that said, who is this?
My uncle.
Oh, your uncle. Okay. So your uncle says to you, he knows this, I guess you know his uncle.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So uncle says to you, there's this guy I work with, nice guy, but he needs some money?
Exactly. And so we had a verbal agreement that he would repay the loan when he could, and so I made the decision.
Was it a lump sum loan? Or?
Initially it was just $500, but it kind of became, it snowballed into up to $2,000 because he came back to me like I was some sort of ATM.
The first time he asked you for $500, and what did you say?
Well, I said, sure, if you repay it, within a timely manner, I have no problem doing that.
Okay, and then when was the next time?
Maybe a few days later, within the same week.
A few days later, he
Yeah.
says he wants...
He came back for another $200 and then another $200 after that, and he agreed to pay me back, but
So
has yet
all
to do
these
so.
times, from the first time he asked you to the last time he asked you for money, was what, a 1 month period, a 2 month
It was
period?
approximately
That's a lie.
It was about half of a month, actually, just a couple weeks like that.
And what else?
The straw that broke the camel's back for me was that I recently rented a car for myself. And the reason why this is relevant is because he decided that took it upon himself that it might be a good idea for him to just take the rental car without my permission, which is, from my understanding, is theft. So he basically stole a rental car from me.
That's a lie.
And
I'd be in jail if I stole it.
Well, you're lucky I didn't report you.
Wait, so you rented a car, and you're saying he took the car?
Right.
How? Did he come into your house?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you invite him into your house?
I assume so because...
I mean, you're not saying he broke...
I mean, he invited himself,
know
is the point. It was late, like later in the afternoon, and I
How
took a
did you
nap.
get in the house? And I'm going to let
I
you...
knocked on the door, and he answered.
And he answered?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got up from your nap.
Well, I must have been out of it, but it wasn't like he broke into the house. But what he did take was the car without permission. And the reason why this matters is because it resulted in a lot of fees and stuff that I now still currently owe the rental car company. And I have proof right here.
Did you drive this car? We won't talk whether it's thievery at this point.
Yes.
So you did. He had a rented car. You went over one day.
Unbeknownst
stole
to
the
me,
car.
it was a rental.
You what?
Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know it was a rental.
And you asked him, can I borrow your car?
For work.
He's saying...
He never asked me, Your Honor.
You never asked. But you took the keys.
Yes.
And you took the car where?
To work.
Oh, you took the car to work?
Yeah, I had it for a couple days.
Wow.
He loaned me the car. I didn't know it was a rental. He didn't say it was a rental car.
Normally, at the end of the day, when you come back home, you return the car.
I told him that I was going to have it for a few days.
This isn't true. He stole the car. I didn't loan him the car at all. That wasn't a part of the agreement. And
How did this end
the
up?
terms from the car rental company, if the bailiff wants to...
Yeah, I want to see that. Okay, so you rented the car for how long?
Just 2 days, I believe it says right there at the top.
Can I tell my side of the story?
Yes.
So I worked with his uncle. One day I was having a vent sesh talking about my personal and financial situation. His uncle then told me, well, I might be able to help you out. It was a couple days later. His uncle came back to me and said, hey, my nephew can loan you the money. And I was kind of caught off guard a little bit because it was a lot. I didn't know if I was dealing with the mafia or if I'd have to make some trips over the border or something. I didn't know.
Do you have good connections with the mafia?
No, but it felt like... So I met at his uncle's house, and the money was given to me. At no point in time did we talk about that I owed him, that I'd have to repay him. So I took it as it was like he was just helping me out because I was down.
When someone who you hardly knows hands you that kind of money, You don't assume it's a gift. Why? It's not like Christmas.
I assumed it because he never told me this is what I expect.
Well, if someone hands you some money, you don't just take the money and say thank you and assume that, of course, he's going to give me the money. Why would he give it to you?
Like I said, I had a lot going on personally. I had a death in the family. I didn't think about it at the point in time.
Now, what about this car you took?
So after I had gotten the money, I ended up getting a call because I was looking for work. I got a job. I then got a hold of the plaintiff and asked him, hey, do you have a vehicle or do you know anyone? I could use the vehicle for a couple days for work, and then you can have it. I'll bring the vehicle back to you.
Oh, okay.
He said yes. So I then went over to his residence, knocked on the door. I didn't break in. I didn't take anything. And then I left and went to work straight away. During this time I was at work, he was very clingy and needy. The conversations, it was just like I was in a relationship almost. Like he was wanting a friend.
Objection.
He was wanting a friend that I didn't want.
None of this is true.
And I called his uncle and I explained, hey, what's going on? His uncle then called me back and said, well, you stole his rental car and he's saying you owe all this money. And I was unaware that it was a rental car, but I gave the uncle permission to give the rental car my phone number so they could come pick it up, and I gave it to him right away.
That's not true either. Your Honor, what happened was that the rental car company had a GPS tracker on it, and they had to track him down and
They don't have
arrived
GPS
with
trackers
police.
on rental cars. That's not true.
They do. And they arrived at the scene where he was, had parked the car with the police, and they just took the
Do
car
you
back.
have a copy of the police report?
I don't have a copy of the police report because I didn't file the report. I was not there for that recovery, so it wasn't a report
So
filed
how
by
do
me.
you know the police came?
Because I have the conversation from the rental car company saying that
I'll
they
take a
went
look
to
at that.
retrieve the car right here. That's all the relevant.
I never saw the police at all.
We have transferred your account to FedChecks, a collections agency. FedChecks will be in contact with you within 2 weeks to request payment. Should you choose to cooperate, your credit score will not be affected. While I understand the vehicle was not in your possession when recovered, which is right, you had the car, you are 100% responsible for the vehicle during the rental period, and failure to secure this property means you are responsible for any fees as outlined here.
I'm just saying that all those fees that I owe the rental car company, still, he's liable for.
No.
Because he put me in that position,
No.
which is affecting my credit score.
You definitely put him in
I didn't know it was a rental car. He signed the rental agreement, not me.
It's pretty clear.
But
with the
why
registry.
did you keep the car for a few days?
Because I was going to work.
I
told
understand,
him,
but you don't work all day.
when I asked to take the car, he agreed that I could have it for a few days, that he didn't need the vehicle.
You're saying he told you that you could have the car for several days.
For 2 days.
Why would he say you can have the car for 2 days?
He didn't say anything.
Exactly.
He didn't say anything, right? So why did you assume that you could just take the car?
I'm saying he didn't say anything about it was a rental.
Now the story is shifting. Now the story, you said he told you could have it for a few days. That doesn't make any sense because he knew it was rented, even if you didn't.
That's on.
He knew it's a rental car, so why would he had to return? Why would he give you the car for a few days?
I don't know, maybe the same reason he was out of it, so maybe he doesn't remember the conversation.
I just wanted to add one final piece of evidence right here, but this is the total amount from the car fees and everything incurred. So basically, my point of presenting this today is that the $2,000 that I'm seeking payment for is
For the friendship you're trying to buy,
very
or what?
lenient, because in fact it
So the
would be more than-
$2,000 includes the repayment of the loan, what you say is a loan, and the fees that were brought to you because he took the car.
Right.
I borrowed the car.
He knew your name wasn't on the rental. You didn't, but he did. And he knew he had to return the car in a couple of days.
Earlier,
He would have told you if
earlier
you...
you had said
No, I
that
don't
he
believe
wasn't
it.
aware that the car was due back that day, which you
I
said.
fine for the plaintiff in the sum of $2,000.
You can believe that I'll never be giving anyone else a loan again, especially without something in writing.
I'm just baffled. I don't really understand everything that just happened. The judge put his gavel down.